Good morning. Here at Dell's, we're excited because it's Spruce Tip season again. And Spruce Tip season is when we encourage people to empty out their flower containers from summer and fall and get ready for the holiday season. In a couple of weeks, actually in a week and a half, we're going to be starting our Spruce Tip classes where people can come out with their containers or choose from one of our great containers here. And our staff will help you dress up your pots for the holiday season. If you've never done it before, we're going to give you a little demonstration right now. The main ingredient in our Spruce Tip pots is the Spruce Tip itself. And they come in bundles of 10 or 5 depending on their height. And so you're welcome to choose from our nursery lot of Spruce Tip bundles and get the one that's just right for your containers. And come on into the warmth of our greenhouse and go for it and get it all duded up for the season that's coming up. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. Right here I have my decorative pot, which you would have at home. And we recommend taking a insert pot, we call them, that fits nicely down into the center of your container. And it allows for the freeze-thaw action to happen and not crack your pot in most cases. Some pots are so fragile that they won't work, but if you have a thick-walled container and want to use this insert method, it works out great. So I filled it with potting soil, which we have here at Dell's Garden Center. I filled it partially to the top so that I can embed my first element, which is the beautiful birch poles we have here. We have those available in different heights. So if you need to go really tall, we have that height available in the 5 and 6 foot. We also have the more common 3 foot, 4 foot pieces, and you're welcome to choose the perfect one for your pot as well. You don't have to use a birch pole, but they are a very popular item for spruce tips. And you can reuse them for maybe 2 years. They start to get brittle after a couple years, but try to get a little longevity out of it. So I sorted through my bundle. It comes in bundles of 10, this size does. And I wanted a nice, beautiful piece to highlight the backdrop for my display. And then figure out some side pieces. I usually take my pruners and cut a nice little stem, and I preserve the side branches for use in a minute. I'll show you how to do that. But create your design with the focal point on the top, and then create maybe a triangular shape is a nice direction to go. I'm going to put one out here, and I put it behind the birch poles so that it frames the colorful birch, but you can still see the nice green branches of the spruce tip. The nice advantage of the spruce tip that we bring in is that it will last way until March or April, so you can enjoy it all winter long for the holidays and beyond. So it's pretty nice for that reason. These little side branches I cut off earlier, I'm going to stick into the pot kind of upside down, if you will, so that it frames and conceals the rim and the insert pot a little bit. It gives us a nice flare. So I'll come around front here so I can better see what I'm doing. One of the nice presentation methods we like to use is combining the textures. So we also bring in other branches from around the region. And this one's a long needle pine. We love this texture combination with the short needle spruce. And I'm going to embed that around the rim of the pot itself. What I really like about this particular green with this container is this texture line here is repeated with the foliage of this evergreen long needle. And because it's in potting soil, it allows you to rework your branches as you go along so that you can keep the balance nice. There's my final couple pieces of side branches. And then I'll move on to, oops, I have one more tip. So my tips here is, there's 4 in this pot, and I think I need a 5th element just to fill it up. Because of the size of container, 5 is going to work for me well. You can get by with 3 or 4 or 5, but most generally the size pots we use for our summer containers allow for 5 tips quite nicely. To create a little height, we have branches of yellow twig dogwood, red twig dogwood, curly willow, all kinds of fun things that you can search through our nursery lots. In a week or 2, we'll have all of it set up. We're well on our way already. I'm going to embed half of a red twig dogwood bundle here to give us that nice natural barn red coloration. Works for Christmas, works into the January and February part of our year as well. When you come to class, it's always fun to see people design in different ways, not only the way we do it, but they bring their own talents, and it's always fun to have new ideas. And when you bring a group with you, you can share ideas, and it's lots of fun to join our classes that we'll be having in a week or so. You're welcome to call the Garden Center at 712-262-4912, and they will register you and your friends for a class time. We'll be holding our classes every weekend in November, on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So these big pine cones that I'm using right now, big sugar cones, and they're magnificent. They make a piece come to life better than any element we use, I think. So I like to use 1, 2, or 3 of them in a display. In this particular piece, I have a focal point in mind, so I'm going to use 3 as kind of a backdrop to my presentation in the front. Isn't that a cool texture? My final foliage I'm going to use is actually artificial. It's an artificial arborvitae, and you would never know it's artificial, but it's something you could purchase now and use for several years to come. It has a nice little pine cone on it. And my final addition, excuse me, it's not my final piece, but it is my focal point, is this cute little gnome with the droopy legs. And he's going to sit in there so cute in his little forest of spruce tips. And I realize it's a cloth item, but unless you have some heavy rains in the winter, he should sustain himself through the Christmas season. And then when Christmas is over, you can simply remove him and leave your holiday display as a winter display. But for now, he's going to brighten our little pot for the Christmas season. I want to pick up on a little bit of red by bringing in some bright, shiny red balls on sticks. We have those available in several colors. They're really fun to use. And they add such a nice little element. Quite pretty. One more branch I have here. There is a whole selection of ribbons that we like to use as a final point of interest, if you'd prefer. With this particular focal point, I think his legs serve the purpose of a ribbon, so I'm going to leave it undone like that without a ribbon. So any questions, you're free to come out to Dell's and meet with a staff member, and they'll help you select pieces for your own containers, or if you want to join a class, call us today and we'll sign you up. Thank you.